Alright guys, it's Luke again. After the absolutely overwhelming support on the last video where I got 5 views and a couple of my mates said, Luke, you look like a twat, I was just like, yeah sure, let's give you the battles that you want to see. So what I'm just going to do in this video, in this really professional, really crisp, perfect video, is I'm just going to basically run down what happened in my first week, which was the battle against the Oakland Remoraiders. I'm just going to sort of go through my thoughts behind the team building process, and then I'll show you a replay of the game and sort of give you my thoughts on the moves as I made them. Because this is a really professional video, I absolutely cannot be bothered to bring up sprites of my team and their team, so I'll just run through the team lists now, and you've got to try and remember them in your head, so good luck with that. So a recap of my team, if you didn't see my draft analysis: we've got Tornadus, Therian, Victini, Scizor, Tangrowth, Slowking, Sylveon, Salamence, Magnezone, Crocodile, Crobat and Smeargle. And like I was saying, we're up against the Oakland Remoraiders. They've got Manaphy, Latias, Thundurus Incarnate, Nidoking, Forretress, Darmanitan, Tornadus Incarnate, Skuntank, Florges, Breloom and Lycanroc the midday form. So yeah, like I say, just, that's the teams, just bear that in mind, remember that. Good job, good luck. Yeah, so first things first, when I was looking at his team, actually I think the very first Pokemon that I put in this team was Tornadus, because like I was saying in the draft analysis, I love the whole U-turn Volt Switch synergy between Tornadus, Therian and Magnezone. So I just had like a bog standard Torn set. It had I don't know, Hurricane, Knockoff, something else, maybe Heatwave and U-turn. I'm not sure, I can't really remember that Tornadus, and it wasn't until the last minute where I actually swapped the Tornadus out, because as you can see it's not in this team. So yeah, the first Pokemon that I added was Tornadus, but it doesn't really count, it's not really a thing. Yeah, I then added Magnezone because looking at his team, his only ground type, so I should say his only electric immunity is the Nidoking, which doesn't really like a hidden power ice, and it probably doesn't even like a flash cannon, to be honest. I can't bother to do the calcs. But yeah, I was looking at his team and I was thinking, do you know what? I'm bringing Magnezone because Nidoking I can work around. I've got a switch in, like Slowking is a perfect switch in for Nidoking. So I was just thinking, I'll bring Magnezone, I'll deal with Nidoking, and then I can sweep. So I brought Magnezone. I was looking at the speed tiers and I was thinking, my two fastest mons in Crobat and Tornadus, they're very weak to Thundurus and Lycanroc and his faster mons. So I was thinking, I really want. I was thinking that I need to scarf Magnezone because Magnezone is going to be sort of my fast threat. I can sort of, switch in and out and deal damage, switch out, whatever, and I don't need to really worry about the speed tiers too much unless he scarfed any of his mons. So anyway, I've brought Scarf Magnezone, so I've Scarf Timid Magnezone, and I've got it here. This outspeeds a Jolly Lycanroc, and probably Oko's with Flash Cannon, I can't remember. But yeah, so basically, this Lycanroc was his fastest Pokemon with base 112 speed. So, assuming he had no Scarfers, Magnezone outspeeds every single one of his Pokemon. And Scarfers I can deal with easily enough. So yeah, I was really happy with this Magnezone. I knew that he was going to sort of put in the work. So yeah, Magnezone is cool, he's Scarfed, he outspeeds everything. And also I've got the Magnet Pull Hidden Power Fire in case my opponent decided to bring the Forretress. Because I know they can run Shed Shell, but it's nice to have that option of just trap him, Hidden Power Fire, boom, done, easy. So yeah, that's the first one. Next thing I brought was Slowking. Why did I bring Slowking? So I've just got to try and remember my thought process from a couple of weeks ago. Looking through his team, Slowking deals really well with the Nidoking. Latias isn't doing too much to especially offensive Slowking, so that's another reason to bring it. Manaphy, if it's not a Tail Glow set, can't do too much to Slowking even with an Energy Ball. I doubt that's... And that might be a 2-co, I don't know. But either way, it's not going to be an Oko, it's not going to put me under too much pressure. So yeah, Slowking, he had to come into the team. So Terry, she had to come into the team. Also deals quite well with Tornadoes. Just looking through the list here. I really should have done this video sort of closer to the time of the battle because I'm struggling to remember what I did. So sorry, my phone keeps going off. Blah blah. That's a really important text, so I'll leave that. Yeah, the next thing was Victini. Because I drafted this thing for one reason and one reason only, and that's to punch holes in teams. And I was like, you know what, he doesn't have too much of a dedicated switch into a choice banded V-Create. Other than just looking through his team now, like a defensive Latias or a defensive Manaphy could do the trick, but got Bolt Strike for the Manaphy and Latias, I can work around that, you know, like I said, I've got a dedicated switch into Latias with Slowking, so, pardon me. So it doesn't matter too much if he brings in the Latias on the Victini. Yeah, just looking through the rest of his team, he doesn't really have much of an answer to Victini. His dedicated physical wall in his draft is probably at a guess Fortress, which obviously, you know, it's not going to trouble Victini even slightly. So yeah, Victini, I just brought in sort of max speed Jolly so that he could speed toe the Manaphy. Because, you know, I like to have a little bit of, you know, I don't know. I'm just looking through the rest of his team. I was like, this allowed speed of Dom, it allowed speed of non-scarfed Nidoking, and, you know, the only thing that I really need to worry about was the Manaphy, and the best I can do with the Manaphy is speed tie with it. So, yeah, the Jolly 252 EVs in speed is what I decided to go for. What nature did I do? Yeah, just looking at the Slowking here, I actually had a bold nature, so I must have been preparing for some kind of a physical threat as well. I suppose it deals quite well with Darmanitan. But yeah, next Pokemon was Sahasrara, the Salamence, because speaking of Darmanitan, I had no answers to Darmanitan. None whatsoever. Like, I had no switching. Because my physical wall Tangrowth, it's not really gonna do too much against a Darmanitan. Obviously Slowking, it does resist, but it's more of a special wall, not a physical wall. Like a choice banded Darm could easily tear through Slowking, I would imagine. I probably did the calcs at the time. So I brought on Impish Intimidate Salamence because that provides a really good switch into to Darmanitan. I did originally have Earthquake on the set instead of Defog, so I could switch into a Darm and then Oko it. But I decided that Defog, get rid of hazards, would be more beneficial for me, considering I've got a Victini and stuff. And yeah, I've got a Roost for the reliable recovery, got Flamethrower for the Fortress. Yeah, in retrospect, I probably should have put Earthquake on here somewhere. But it doesn't really matter, like Dragon Claw's doing a solid 60-70% to Darm anyway. So yeah, that's the thoughts behind Salamence. Like I was saying in the draft analysis, I'm not always going to bring Salamence as an offensive mon, and in week 1 I proved that, you know, it's got versatility and it works well as a defensive mon, so there's Salamence. Next thing I brought was Sylveon, obviously just a dedicated Latias switching, because, you know, if I didn't bring a Fairy then he's going to drop Dracos all over me, so yeah, Sylveon brought the Choice Specs variant because it's got enough natural bulk in it so it can provide a switch in. And Choice Specs Hyper Voice, he doesn't really have any kind of a switch in on it for his team whatsoever. Pardon me. Now I know it's quite kind of weird to have Specs with only one offensive move and you can't really choice yourself into Heal Bell or Baton Pass or Wish, but my thoughts behind this were, if I get knocked off, if Pokemon uses knockoff on Sylveon, I should say, then it's still got a lot of viability in the game. Also, I can still Wish Pass when I'm Choice Specs. It doesn't, you know, I can't like Wish Baton Pass, but I can Wish and then switch into something else. And also, I suppose if I'm using Heal Bell or Wish or something, then my opponent's not going to think that I'm Choice Specs, so he may not anticipate the Hyper Voice and he won't be able to play around that. And also, like, Sylveon doesn't really have any other moves that I'd want to put on it. Like, I could use the Hidden Power Fire for Fortress, but Hyper Voice is easily a 2-hit KO anyway. He doesn't, like I was saying, he doesn't really have any switch-ins for Hyper Voice, so there's no real reason to have any sort of variance in the moveset there. something that I should say is with these Salamans, he's got 136 EVs in speed to outspeed a modest Nidoking. Actually, I think I think that was when I still had Earthquake on the set. But either way, like, it's inconsequential at that point. So yeah, like I was saying at the start of the video, I did have Tornadus in this team originally. It was only at the last second that I decided to switch Tornadus out for Assault Vest Tangrowth. Because basically, just picture like this whole team, these 5 plus Taunty. Literally like 5-10 minutes before the game, I was just, you know, doing a last minute check, and I was looking at that Thunderous Incarnate, and I was thinking, I do not have one switch into it. It's got Focus Blast for the Magnezone, it can take out, obviously, Slowking, can take out Victini, it's probably got like HP Ice for Salaman, so even Salaman doesn't want to take an electric type move. Like, I don't know, I just felt, I suddenly had this premonition. I was like, that Thunderous is going to give me problems, why haven't I prepared for it enough? So, brought Tangrowth. An Assault Vest Tangrowth, it just eats any hit from anyone. So yeah, Thunderous is no longer a problem. Got Leaf Storm, just for damage, I'd imagine, for Manaphy. Got a Knockoff for utility, also deals quite well with Latias. Got Rock Slide for the Darmanitan, so I have some kind of coverage against it. I got Hidden Power Fire for the Fortress. Got a fair bit of fire coverage on this team, actually, looking back. We've got 1, 2, 3, got 4 moves with fire, so I'm really terrified of Fortresses. I don't know why. But yeah, there's your team builder. How long have you been here? 11 minutes. I do these videos way too long, I just ramble, I'm sorry. Right, so yeah, I think I sort of talked through all of my... Pardon me, I've got really bad burps at the moment. It's really rude. What was I saying? Yeah, I've got, like, you know, there's all my thoughts behind it. I've got decent coverage for everything. I've got switch-ins for his main threats, which are, just looking at the document, which are stuff like Latias, Thunderous, Manaphy. A Tail Glow Manaphy does kind of tear through this team, but I don't think anyone can really prepare for a Tail Glow Manaphy. It's just something that you've got to work around during the game. Like, unless you got an Unaware Mon, or even like, just Clefable. In my eyes, Clefable is the only switch-in for a Tail Glow Manaphy. Because even like the other Unaware Mons, like Quagsire, Manaphy can easily run Energy Ball and whatever. So like, it's very hard to prepare for a Tail Glow Manaphy. So this is probably a mistake in hindsight, but I just thought it's tough to prepare for. So I'm not going to prepare for it. Bloody great job. So anyway, here we go, jumping into the match. What did he bring? He brought Manaphy, Darmanitan, Latias, Thunderous Incarnate, Lycanroc, and Tornadus Incarnate. He brought both Thunderous and Tornadus, which is weird to see those two on the same team at the same time. But I'm looking at this team while I'm sort of... Sorry, if you can hear my laptop, by the way, I should have said this in my last video. If you can hear the fan on my laptop, it sounds like a hairdryer. It's bloody annoying. You'll just have to deal with it, sorry. Right, so, what was I saying? Yeah. Looking at this team, my first thought is he hasn't brought Nidoking. My first thought is Choice Scarf Magnezone. Once I get rid of that Latias, Choice Scarf Magnezone is just going to have fun. He's like, I don't know why my opponent did not bring the Nidoking. Maybe he didn't see Magnezone as much of a threat. Maybe he realised that between Slowking and Sylveon I've got decent switch-ins for a Nidoking, but that's thinking more offensively. Like, from a defensive perspective, he needs a ground type to stop my Magnezone, so that's a mistake that he has made from the off. Now, I'm just wondering with this, especially I'm going to be playing it with music, I really hope that the music from the game, from the showdown, doesn't like drown out my voice. If you can even hear it, like, I've got headphones inside. I don't know how OBS works, so yeah. Let's just stick speed on slow, or really slow, so I can talk through every move. I'll speed it up if I need to. But yeah, I lead off with Magnezone. God, that's really loud. That's really going to annoy me, you know, from home. Yeah, so I lead off with Magnezone because I'm thinking I can get a free... I'm not going to speed that up, that's ridiculous. I get a free Volt Switch because, you know, obviously Nidoking's not there. And he leads off with his Thunderous, and I'm thinking, Right, if he's scarfed, he can focus blast or hidden power ground, and my whole plan is just completely out the window. So I'm thinking, if he's not scarfed, I can volt switch, get a bit of momentum, but it's not worth risking him being scarfed. So I feel like I can hear voices. And the housemates are milling about, whatever, who cares? Right. So yeah, I'm just thinking I don't want to risk the Thunderous being scarfed and taking out my Magnezone. And also, if I switch out and not use Volt Switch, then it kind of hides the fact that I'm scarfed for a little bit longer, which is always nice. So obviously if I would have gone for Volt Switch and outsped him, then he would have known straight from the off that I was scarfed, and he could have worked around that. So I kept my cards quite close to my chest. Or whatever the hell I was saying. He went for a hidden power that's resisted by Tangrowth, so I'm guessing that he does actually have the hidden power ground. So that was a good play by me to switch out, even though he does switch up his moves here, so he's clearly not scarfed. So it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, but it's good to know that he's got HP ground coverage for Magnezone. So anyway, I sort of stay in because I assume that he's scarfed or choiced in some way. The Sludge Wave reveals that he's not, so I'm just like, oh, I made a bit of a mistake. But I went to the knockoff and I got rid of the Assault Vest, and I'm just thinking, okay, the Assault Vest is gone. Magnezone can do a bit more damage to it. You'll begin to notice that I veer a lot of my thoughts, in this battle especially, around what Magnezone can do. So anyway, I switch out, go back into Magnezone because I know that he's not going to HP grind, so I go Volt Switch, which he does, and that gives me really free initiative right now to go for Volt Switch myself. And I don't do that because, sorry, like I say, I've got to try and remember my thought pattern from before. No, I didn't go for the Volt Switch because if Darmanitan's scarfed, he goes for a Flare Blitz and he's taking out Magnezone again. So I go into my dedicated switch, which is the Salamence, as he does go for Flare Blitz and it's resisted quite well. I probably should have ran a calc or something, just sort of to try and guess what item he's got, because I don't see an item. I'm assuming, oh yeah, he's definitely Choice Scarf then, so I feel safe to stay in. He's not Choice Scarf. You go for the Rock Slide, he might have the Expert Belt or something, and this is the point when in the team builder I was saying I should have kept Earthquake on. That's exactly why. If I would have kept Earthquake on Salamence, then Darmanitan's gone right now. But anyway, I went to the Dragon Claw and it did, what, 56%? Like, it's done a fair amount. Anyway, I feel safe going Slowking because, you know, a U-turn's going to do a fair bit, but for the most part, I'm not too fussed. So yeah, he brings in Thunderous, so I'll go for a Scald, just get a bit of damage off on whatever wants to switch in. What do? I protect here. Yeah, because basically what I like to do in Draft League formats is I like to run protect on a lot of mons so you can scout out. It's especially useful when something is choiced in some fashion, which I knew this wasn't, but it's nice to know this thing's got the knockoff. And anyway, I decided to stay in here. It's probably a bit of a risky play, but obviously, like, no one wants a Slowking to stay in on a knockoff, so I was obviously going to switch. And so I thought that the less predictable play would be to stay in. I've done the calcs. I knew that I could live a Volt Switch anyway. I'm pretty sure I could live a Thunderbolt at the HP that I was at. So obviously in his mind, I've got to switch. So he's thinking, oh, I've got a Volt Switch to get momentum, and so I just sort of stayed in. Took a little bit of a gamble, but it paid off. And so now I can Scald this Latias. Can I get a burn? No, I cannot. But yeah, it's just, you know, if I can get a bit of extra damage off with Scald, there's no reason not to. So what do I do here? I protect it again, because like I say, Latias is probably choiced in some way, and it's good to protect the Scout to see what he's going to lock himself into. So obviously Voltaire wants to go for the knockoff again, and at this range I can't live a Thunderbolt, so switch out into the Salamence. I might as well just sack this thing off because it didn't do the job that I wanted it to do against the Darmanitan, because the Darmanitan wasn't choiced like I thought it would be. So yeah, at this point I'm just sacking off Salamence because I needed a free switch into something else. So I got the Intimidate off and he gets the Defiant boost. It doesn't matter, but that was probably a bit of an oversight from me. So anyway, he takes me out with the knockoff, and the first mon is lost on my side, but I'm not too fussed because Salamence had one job to wall the Darmanitan and it's not doing that very well, so get out of it. So I can bring in Sylveon, go for me Choice Specs Hyper Voice, and like I was saying in the team builder, nothing wants to switch into this. Like, the Lycanroc was sashed, and if it wouldn't have been sashed, obviously it would have been taken out. So that was a decent move by me, I think. I obviously know he's going for Stealth Rock, so I can get free switch into whatever I want. I go back into the Slowking, and he crits me with the Stone Edge here. It's probably not too sort of far-fetched to imagine that the Stone Edge would crit because it's a high crit move, but still, no one likes to see crits. Fortunately, it didn't sort of do too much damage, and I've got Regenerator to heal off the damage that was done, so it's not too bad. I go for the Score just for any move, just to sort of take out the Lycan Rock, get me leftover recovery. He goes back into Thunderous. I go for Protect. I basically always go for Protect when I can. So just, you know, get a bit of leftover recovery, if nothing else. It also puts him a little bit on edge with it starts off the mind games a little bit. But I know that he's going to go for the Volt Switch, so I can feel safe going into Magnezone because I know that he'll have to go into something where I can Volt Switch. Right, at this point, it's probably a mistake by me, I should have Volt Switched. Because the Volt Switch would have taken Darmanitan out, and it would have got Magnezone out and off the field. But yeah, I just saw the Darmanitan in front of me. I knew it's not Scarfed, and I'm thinking I need to take this thing out. Let's just go for the Thunderbolt. So yeah, Darmanitan goes, and that's a big threat off the field. So I'm not too mad. But like I was saying, I should have gone for the Volt Switch because now he can bring in Latias, and he gets a free move off. So what do I do here? I go into Slowking. Just sort of take whatever move he wants to go for. He goes to the Psyshock, predicting the Sylveon, so that worked out really well for me. And he reveals the Life Orb, so he's not choice. I go for Protect just to see if he packs the Draco. He does pack the Draco, so that was a good move by me, just to sort of scout out my opponent's set a little bit more. And he switches out into Manaphy. As what do I do? As I go into Tangrowth. Not quite sure what my thought was behind that move. Maybe I've done the Calcs and Tangrowth can live a Draco, I'm not sure. But yeah, obviously he needs to switch back out, so I can go for Leaf Storm. I probably should have predicted switching on for the knockoff, but I've got a Tangrowth on the field, he's a Manaphy, he might be wanting to set up a Tail Glow. My first thought is, just take this thing out. So yeah, he goes for the Hurricane, because obviously it's super effective on the Tangrowth. And this is probably an oversight by me in the team building segment because I don't have much of a dedicated switch to the Tornadus. But yeah, I'd just taken way too much damage from that Hurricane. I think I'd run the Calcs and I found out this thing was Specs, which is really terrifying, but at the same time it allows me to get a free switch into the Magnezone and it gives me a free Volt Switch right here. So I go for the Volt Switch. Get the crit, obviously it doesn't matter too much, and now I get another free Hyper Voice, or so you would have thought, but no, because the Psyshock crits. And as I think I say in the chat here, I was like, oh, that one kind of hurts, and he apologised for it as well, because that was potentially a massive, massive crit. But anyway, I bring in the Tangrowth, because then I can take out the Latias with a knockoff at this point, and the knockoff's gone. No, the Latias has gone, and we are all good to go. What happens here? He brings in the Tornadus, I bring in Slowking, he takes me out with the Hurricane. It might have been a bit of a roll. How much did Hurricane do last time? No, it wasn't a roll. Ignore that, what I'm saying. Right, so yeah, I'll lose Terry, which is kind of upsetting because I love Terry. I love the Slowking, Slowbro. I love those Pokemon. So it was upsetting to see Terry go down, but with Darmanitan off the field and Latias off the field, I think Slowking has kind of done her job. So I remember it got to this point and I was looking at his three remaining Pokemon, the Manaphy, the Tornadus and the Thunderous at... Oh, it doesn't show me how much health it's got. The Thunderous at sort of not full health. Pardon me. And I'm thinking, well, two of those three Pokemon are weak to Magnezone, and the other one, it's neutral, but I could probably do a lot of damage. I don't know where these bloody hiccups have come from. But yeah, so at this point I'm thinking, as long as I don't make any stupid mistakes, I've won with Magnezone. A Telvo Manaphy could still mess me about because I'm doing the Calcs, and a Thunderbolt from Magnezone is only doing like 70 to 80% to the Manaphy, so I'm thinking if he lives... Actually, I don't know. I was just feeling a bit nervous because Thunderbolt wasn't a one-hit KO on Manaphy. So I'm thinking at this point, if I don't make any stupid plays, I've won. So what do I do here? I go for the Volt Switch maybe? No, I go for the Thunderbolt. Yeah, so I'm just thinking, let's just get something off this field right now. Whether it's the Tornadus, the Manaphy, let's just put huge offensive pressure on. He brings out the Thunderous, which is probably a good play by him to just sack it off. It doesn't have too much viability left in this game. So he brings out the Manaphy. And I'm thinking, obviously my Thunderbolt isn't killing the Manaphy. And I'm only at, what health is that? 35.2% health. I'm dying to a surf. So even if this isn't a Tail Glow Manaphy, it's still going to kill my Magnezone, and that's my win con gone. So I switch out into the Tangrowth knowing that I can take any one move from Manaphy. With hindsight, I'm not sure if my opponent was packing the Tail Glow, but with hindsight, my opponent should have gone for the Tail Glow then, obviously, because it's a free Tail Glow because I switched. But in his mind, obviously, he's not going to go for the Tail Glow because I've got a Magnezone in front of him. Like, why would he risk me, outspeeding him, getting off 2 Thunderbolts and beating the Manaphy? So in his mind, he's never going for the Tail Glow, even if he packs it. So, yeah, that was a relatively safe switch in for me. Obviously, I can take the Surf, I can take the Ice Beam, I can take whatever Manaphy wants to go for. So what do I do here? Just go for the knockoff. Because I could have gone for the Leaf Storm with the Manaphy in front of me. But like I was saying, Magnezone's Thunderbolt does 70 to 80%, so all I need to do to Manaphy was just chip away that extra 20%. Knockoff would have done that amount of damage, so there's no reason to go for the Leaf Storm. So I just went for the knockoff. I get rid of this thing's choice specs, which is really nice. This is much less of a threat. And at this point, accidental, incredible play. I was just sacking off Victini at this point. Because I was just like, right, Magnezone's my win con. Tangrowth is a nice switch in if I need it. Victini has no... It does nothing for me at this point in the battle. So I was just thinking, alright, a Hurricane comes in, kills Victini, whatever. Right? No, he went for the Heat Wave. I suppose it makes sense for him to go for the Heat Wave because it's super effective on the Tangrowth and the Magnezone. But yeah, it definitely worked out for me, or so you would have thought, because then he just hits me with a Hurricane and crits me and takes me out. I'm not sure if the crit mattered too much or not, but I was a bit disappointed for Victini because I would have liked to have seen him get a kill. But anyway, at this point, Magnezone comes in and just wins the game with Thunderbolt. Like they're saying in the chat there, that crit on the Manaphy from the Tornadus didn't matter. So, yeah, at this point, I know that I go for a Thunderbolt, do like 70 to 80%, he takes me out. I go into Tangrowth, he can't kill me in one hit. I go for the Leaf Storm, I win. He actually... I shouldn't have paused that halfway through the animation, that was a bit bad. But, yeah, I'll just play this through. So I go for the Thunderbolt. It does more than I thought it would do, actually. He goes for the Ice Beam on me. And I did learn afterwards that he went for the Ice Beam because he was predicting the switch into Tangrowth. He knew he'd lost at that point, but he was thinking if he can get one more kill, make it a better differential for him, being -1 instead of a -2. But yeah, I was just thinking at that point, like I was saying, I don't need to save Magnezone, just need to get the damage off that I can. And so yeah, he went for the Ice Beam on me, I went for another Thunderbolt, and I won the game. Magnezone got 4 kills in that game. And just like I was saying, when I was sort of building the team, I wanted Magnezone to be my main threat, and it proved to be. So it was a really, really good game by me. I was actually really impressed with how I played. There was a couple of misplays. I think the whole Salomon set was awful. Oh, sorry, I've got a bit of a... Like, I should edit that out, but I'm not going to. My god, I'm talking too much. What was I saying? Yeah, the whole Magnezone set was... No, the whole Salomon's set, I'm losing my mind. The whole Salomon's set was a bit of a farce. But if the Darmanitan would have been choiced in some fashion, that Salomon's set would have worked a lot better. So my opponent sort of out-prepped me in that regard. Yeah, so I think I misplayed the Salamence. There was a couple of times where he could have tail glowed, and so maybe me giving him that opportunity would have been counted as a misplay. But I knew that he couldn't risk going for the tail glow on those moves, so I don't think I played too badly in that regard. Yeah, I basically just... I knew that Magnezone was my win con, so I didn't ever really risk it at any point in the game. So I think I played quite safely in that regard. Slowking and Tangrowth did exactly what I wanted them to with the regenerator switchy malarkey. That was all really fun. It turns out that I didn't really need Tornadus in this game at all, so dropping Tornadus was not really a downside. Sylveon, it didn't really do much, but it would have taken out the Lycanroc if not for the Focus Sash. So it did, you know, it punched a hole in the team. It did what I wanted it to. Victini was a bit disappointing, but with the team that he brought in the end, I didn't really need Victini for anything. And obviously, Magnezone was my Scarfed Wincon. Maybe if my opponent would have brought a Scarfed Mon to sort of outspeed my Scarfer, then he would have had a bit better chance. But either way, like I think I played really well in this game. And I was really happy with my performance, and I walked away with the 2-0 victory. So yeah, after 31 minutes of me rambling and coughing and losing my voice, cheers for watching.